Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Birmingham and the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tuscaloosa. Today is our first official Sunday, welcoming our congregation from Tuscaloosa. They will be joining us only for the Time for All Ages and the sermon only, so we will greet them again soon. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. To all who are here this morning, welcome home.
Turn on the mic. There we go. We appreciate your attention to this morning's announcements. You'll find the announcements in our order of service or on the slides for those of you at home. If you require accommodations during our service this morning, our ushers are available to assist. Our adult enrichment team has been working on a variety of opportunities for you this fall. Please take a moment to pull out your connection card and let us know which ones you are interested in. Folks online, you can see the connection card via the link in the chat. Our online connection card is bit.ly/UUCB connection card, case sensitive. Next week, September 11th, is our water communion service. Please bring some water with you from your travels or your home. Following the service, we will have food trucks and outdoor activities so you can connect with one another. Also, following service next week, will be a movie sponsored by GASP on the human element with our Justice Committee. Next Tuesday, we will continue our discussion on Defund Fear at 2 p.m. via Zoom. All are welcome to attend this book discussion on the possibilities of reframing policing. The following Monday, September 19th, Reverend Julie and Courtney will be starting a 7-week course on reproductive justice. If you are interested in attending, please sign up on your connection card. It will be held in person and on Zoom. For all other opportunities, please read your order of service and check out our new monthly newsletter in the back. For online folks, if you would like a monthly newsletter mailed to you, please contact the church office. We have the following special announcements from Courtney.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we are coming up on that fabulous time of year where we start our new RE year. I said year twice. Anyway, you know what I mean. So we are looking for volunteers to teach in our RE program. I just wanted to give you a little heads up. I do all the work for you. You just get to come in and hang out with our really great kids and youth. So if that's something you're interested in, please contact me or stop me after the service. I'd love to talk to you more because we need people like you downstairs too.
Please rise in body or spirit for the lighting of the chalice. In recognition of Labor Day, we light this flame to honor all work, including the work in hands and at our backs. In gratitude for all the labors that support our world, and for all those who boldly continue to work of justice, equity, and peace. In the spirit of inclusivity and welcome, please take the next few moments to greet those around you, especially those you may not recognize. Please be seated for the opening words. Okay. We enter this meeting house for kindness and comfort. May rough, worn hands and aching bodies be healed. We enter this meeting house of hope of equality. May those who labor to survive live to know justice. We enter this meeting house of love and vocation. May our bonds and solidarity be strengthened. We enter this meeting house of courage and friendship. May we proceed hand in hand toward freedom. Please rise in body or spirit in the opening hymn, number 109, in the hardcover hymnal. have the offertory.
Good morning. I'm John Laurent, a member of the board. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time with us, please pass the plate. We are just glad you are here. If you wish to join our church this morning, please come up during the offertory to sign the membership book. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for the marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. Today's Share the Plate will be for Chocolate Milk Mommies, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting Black maternal health care. Chocolate Milk Mommies seeks to decrease Black infant and maternal mortality and morbidity rates and to decrease racial disparities in Black maternal and child health by implementing initiatives that support breastfeeding and increase access to maternal and child health care resources, education, professionals, and trained peers in Black communities. I think that was too long of a sentence. We appreciate your donations, either by placing them in the plate, by mailing your donation to the church, or by using PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. Our Venmo account is at UUCBHAM. Our Zelle account is office@uucbham.org. Please designate whether your offering is for UUCBHAM or Chocolate Milk Mommies. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and hope.
Now is that time in our community when we share what we carry with us on this day, whether joy or sorrow. For those of you online, please type your joys and concerns into the chat and hold one another in love by surrounding names with parentheses. For those of you in person today, you are now invited to come forward and drop a stone in honor or in memory of what is on your heart today. Please come forward. Today we stand with all striking workers across the country and world, those from Amazon, from Starbucks, and our local Alabama coal strike that has been going on for far too long, but may be resolved. So I'm hoping that is resolved soon. Today we lift up a very troubling situation. Our sister church down at Auburn was vandalized yesterday with some very hateful things. And so we lift up that entire congregation and their minister, Reverend Chris Rothbauer, a friend and colleague of mine. If you would like, there is a card on the glass table in the narthex that you can sign that we will be sending them this week to show them our love. If you have updates that you'd like to share with me or with the congregation, please let me know. I'm always willing to share your life updates. May we keep one another in our hearts and minds in the spirit of community and love. Please take this moment to hear a spoken meditation followed by a moment of silence. Today's meditation was written by the Reverend Dr. Richard Gilbert. In the midst of the whirling day, in the hectic rush to be doing, in the frantic pace of life, pause here for a moment. Catch your breath, relax your body, loosen your grip on life. Consider that our lives are always unfinished business. Imagine that the picture of our being is never complete. Allow your life to be a work in progress. Do not hurry to mold the masterpiece. Do not rush to finish the picture. Do not be impatient to complete the drawing. From beckoning birth to dawning death, we are in process, and always there is more to be done. Do not let the incompleteness weigh on your spirit. Do not despair that imperfection marks your every day. Do not fear that we are still in the making. Let us instead be grateful that the world is still to be created. Let us give thanks that we can be more than we are. Let us celebrate the power of the incomplete, for life is always unfinished business. Amen and blessed be. Our reading this morning is by Jennifer Willett. What images come to mind when I say Labor Day? Chances are you think of the holiday weekend and celebrations with your loved ones, the federal holiday, unions, the cause of a working wage and benefits, maybe the history of the struggle of working people to have a fair share of the profits from their work. Those are all great. Now I want you to think of your parents and caregivers. The parent that fed you, bathed you, nurtured you, and taught the building blocks of how to be in the world. Now think of your elders. Who shops for them? Who goes to the doctor with them? Who cleans for them? Who cares for them when they begin to fail? Now think of those that have physical and mental challenges of differing degrees. They come in all ages. Who assists them in the daily tasks that make day-to-day life easier and sometimes possible at all? Much of this work is unpaid labor. Yet the work of homemaking, childcare, elder care, and differently abled care isn't part of our economic system. It doesn't count on our GDP, but our society would collapse without it. Now consider the other non-paid labor we do to mentor, to educate, to assist, to advocate, to entertain and enrich the community, the country, and the world. Think of all that we do for our neighbors, our friends, our community to make life better. This is labor. A paycheck isn't the only measure of our work. Without this labor, our world would be a lonelier and more desperate place. Honor your labor. If you work for money, this holiday is for you. If you work for love, this holiday is still for you. Our work makes the world better. Enjoy your day.
Good morning, again. I'd love to invite the children forward and the young at heart forward, and anyone who would like to come forward. Come on forward. I'm kind of enjoying this rain. Hey y'all, how you doing? Good. How's school going? Oh. Well, I got 2 goods and a bleh. Let's start with the goods. What's going good? I mean, now Piper, is there parts of it that are good? Oh, okay, good. Made me nervous for a second. Lunch is good. And Stark agrees that lunch is also good. And Royal too. Okay, so are we eating school lunches or are we bringing lunch from home? Oh, and you have good lunch at your school, Royal? That was not the case at my school. You have to bring it. Well, then I'm glad it's good. Thanks to your parents. Good job. Stark, what were you saying? Home and school. Do you eat 2 lunches? You say that one more time? He would like to. Were you aware, Reverend Julie, that Stark would like to have 2 lunches? I just thought you two should know. I highlight that. Sorry, Stark. Maybe we should have a conversation about that. So, but what about like the stuff other than lunch? Any other good parts? Yes. Chess club? Do we have any grown-ups out here who play chess? Ooh, we have lots of grown-ups that play chess. And Stark, I know. Stark and Piper both play chess. Maybe we need a chess club here. Yes. Excuse me, frog in my throat. So yeah. And pardon me? And the blah. Well, I don't know. Math. You're not enjoying the math. Okay. What about Stark? Do you like math? Uh-oh, Piper. these two like math. You know what? Royal and Stark, maybe you can help Piper like math more. Maybe they can show you why it's fun. Good at it, but you don't like it. Any grown-ups have that kind of a thing, that same feeling where you're good at it, but you don't like it? Yeah. Well, let me see here. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I have a story to share with you this morning. But we have some special friends that are joining us today, too. Did you know that? So there's a whole other congregation over in Tuscaloosa, and they are watching us today. No, they're not spies. They're not spies. They are our UU friends in Tuscaloosa. And I think they should be just about ready to join us. Do you think maybe we could, say hi to them real quick? What do you think? I mean, do you know where they might be? Yeah, they're in the camera up there. They're not going to be there quite yet, so wait 1 second. But they're watching us, yeah. They're not spies, I promise. So, pardon me? No, they are not narcs either. That took a turn. No, they're just lovely friends that are going to be joining us on Sunday mornings now. They get to come and watch our services with us. So it's going to be cool. We're going to share our stories with them and our sermon with them. They're not aliens or secret agents. They're just normal people, yes. And you know what? They should be on right about now. I've met them. They're all very good. So let's take a second to say hi. Welcome our friends in Tuscaloosa. Hi, friends in Tuscaloosa. We're getting ready to start our story. I will warn you, grown-ups, you're going to be involved in this one. Sorry. But be ready. Be prepared, because it's like live action happening. So, I have this balloon. I'm kind of surprised none of you asked me about this balloon. I'm just sitting here holding a balloon, and you all are just going to let it go. Okay. Well, what I need us to do is I want us to play a game. A game with everybody in the room. What I need us to do is get this balloon right here, this balloon, from up front with us, all the way to the back, to Gil, all the way back there. There's Gil. So, I'm going to let you guys decide. What do you want to do? Here. I need it to get all the way to the back of the sanctuary by Gil. So what should we do? Balloon volleyball. Okay. So, you know what seems to be a problem? I didn't give you any guidelines. So you had a lot of things. Okay, so let's say you need to get that balloon to the back of the room, and as many people as possible need to touch it. Okay, give it a try. See what happens. But Piper, you have to actually do that. Yes, now pass it. All right. Okay, so we're doing good, Now it can't touch the ground. That's another rule. Don't let it touch the ground. Very good. Oh, nice. And you can't carry the balloon. Nobody can carry it. Oh, perfect. Oh, good. Okay. Excellent. But, oh, wait, one more rule. We need to make sure it goes into all of the sections. So we've only got 2, so you need to go over this way. Okay. Got it. Oh, we're doing so good. Oh, don't let it hit the ground. Oh, wait, nope. Stark, you gotta come back up front. Gotta start over. Okay, now try that way. Well, while you guys do this, I'm gonna talk a little more. So, part of why this is a little challenging, other than just general chaos. Hey, Piper, come here for a second. Come here. I got a question for you. Would it have been easier to do this if I told you all of the different rules before you started?
No.
Yes? Royal says yes. It would have been much easier. So knowing what you need to do ahead of time would have been a little easier? Okay, perfect. Come on back up. Come on back up. I don't like rules. You know what? I think that's a pretty common theme around here. A lot of us don't like rules. All right. Oh, my goodness. You know what? It's funny. Can I have it back now? Oh, this always happens. All right. So now I need it so I can tell my story. Thanks, Kathy. So let's finish our story real quick. So it would have been easier if we'd known what we had to do in advance, right? Even though we don't like rules. Rules aren't very fun sometimes. But when it comes to things like working together in cooperation, it's a little easier if you kind of know what everyone's going to do. Like if you're playing a game, on like a board game, if someone isn't doing what you're supposed to do in the board game, it doesn't go right, right? Like if you're playing chess and someone doesn't follow the rules of chess, how does it go? It's crazy, right? So, and even if you're playing a cooperative game, games that aren't even competitive, but you're working towards the same goal, everybody has to work together, right? But there's still kind of some guidelines, let's say. So let's think about our congregations as kind of a playful cooperative game. Cool? So what helps us understand what our goals and expectations and like boundaries of being in part of our congregation? What is it that helps us with that? It's a tough one. I just got real serious for a second. Right, that's definitely a rule. Totally. So we use our covenants. Like we have a covenant that we all use that we kind of help us know how to act towards one another. I feel like we're not talking about the same thing. Like you're talking about one thing and I'm talking about something else and we're not like on the same page. Should have seen Piper's face just then. So we have these guidelines and these agreements that we use in our covenant so that we know how to play together at church, how we behave with each other at church. So if we had our balloon game again and we had a covenant, and that covenant had one simple thing, to get the balloon to the back of the room without touching the floor, with the maximum number of people touching it, and without carrying it, would that have been easier? Because that would have been our covenant. There you go. So our covenant helps us make things easier. That's a long way to get to that. The chaos continues. All right. Hey, Piper, you ready to go downstairs?
Yes.
Awesome. Grown-ups, could you sing us downstairs, please?
Tuscaloosa folks, I'm so glad that you are seeing us this morning. I hope the technology cooperates with this beautiful thunderstorm. You know, I like nothing more than preaching a sermon on justice with the thunder and lightning as the background. It just really hammers the point home. So the school year has begun, and the clearest indication of this fall ritual is the Scholastic Book Fair catalog sent home. How many of you had Scholastic Book Fair? Or your kids did? Or something? Okay. So when the book fair catalog came home, we did what many Xennial parents do, and we scraped together all the cold, hard coin and cash to be found in the house. It is, after all, a fundraiser. Now, we are the cashless generation, so searching through the couch cushions is not usually a very fruitful endeavor. So this past week was our biannual searching through the couch cushions and the tooth fairy money, but my 8-year-old had an additional requirement this year. The Scholastic Book Fair was now required to charge tax. I know. Now, in many states, I'm sure this is not a significant addition, but in a state whose tax rate is the 5th highest in the nation, I was a bit annoyed. And yes, I did look it up. My child's book fair money was a combination of extra chore money, birthday gifts from grandparents, coins from Easter egg hunts, and tooth fairy money. And in my opinion, none of these things should be taxed. Now, I'm a big fan of taxes usually, especially when everyone pays their fair share. But the more I thought about it, the more steamed I became. So, as a good Zennial parent, I turned to social media to vent and share my growing frustration. Y'all knowing me, I could not leave well enough alone. I posted on the school's Facebook page asking as nicely as possible where this new requirement came from. I posted on my personal Facebook page hoping for answers. I was mentally writing a tweet to Governor Kay Ivey in my head when the answer I'd been looking for popped up in my feed, courtesy of a librarian friend of mine. Can we just take a moment to give a shout out to the librarians of the world? Woo! Good people, good people. So, as it turns out, and I'm sure you all will be shocked to know this, it wasn't Governor Ivey's fault, nor was it the state legislature's fault. Odd. It was Scholastic's fault. They changed their business structure to where they were legally required to charge taxes now. I was disgusted. I sent Scholastic a message. Of course, they haven't responded. And yet, this was written in the stars last year when the CEO of Scholastic, Richard Robinson, left the Scholastic empire, not to his kids, not to his siblings, or even his ex-wife, but to his former girlfriend and colleague. I remember thinking at the time that it was pretty entitled for any of his family to expect to control his company. Or perhaps this colleague of his was a master manipulator. Either way, I didn't care where the estate landed, just that the people who were put in charge of Scholastic ran it as he did, charging very little for books and trying to get as many books into the hands of children. Scholastic, after all, owns the Harry Potter and Magic School Bus empires, so they really do not have need for extra funds. Which is why, if the company is suddenly charging fuel surcharges to schools and taxing children for their books after posting a record-breaking fiscal quarter, it's worth another look. Not that it's wrong to make money. We all have to survive. But doing it on the backs of cash-strapped schools and children when the mere existence of the book fair is a classist exhibit is evil indeed. Because there are children who are required to trudge down the hall with their class to watch other children buy books and posters and scented bookmarks. And there are children for whom that tax will mean the difference of taking home a book or nothing at all. You can't even donate extra for other kids to ensure that everyone takes home something. I tried. So, I've added Scholastic to my boycott list. My Labor Day sermon is often my down with capitalism sermon, which always gets mixed reviews. Capitalism, after all, does benefit some of us, some of the most generous and loving people that I know. But capitalism hurts all of us, especially the laborers. Question: what was your wage when you were 30 years old? Or, if you're not yet 30, what do you anticipate it to be when you are 30? In 1973, the median income was $12,051. In today's worth, that is $80,380. Today, the median income is $53,490. Everyone got that? We should be making a lot more to make up for the market. In 1973, the average rent was $115 a month. In today's money, it's around $700 something. The national average for rent is $2,495 monthly. And that is for, in Birmingham, a relatively modest home or apartment. This year, the headline on every paper has been, "Nobody wants to work anymore." Every news outlet has reported on the labor crisis, why no one wants to serve food or work in an office, and what could possibly be behind all of this. What the workers say, if we listen, is that working for $2.13 an hour or $7.75 an hour is not enough. Not when rent is being tripled overnight by out-of-state landlords they have never met. Not when food prices are increasing due to pandemic supply chain issues. Not enough for record-breaking gas prices that benefit gas companies who report record-breaking gas profits when they raised the rates so much this spring. This mantra of "nobody wants to work anymore" has been published in media outlets as far back as 1894. It was repeated again in 1905, 1916, 1922, 1937, 1940, 1952, 1969, 1979, 1981, 1999, 2006, 2014, and now. We know that we fall behind many liberal democracies in how we care for each other, and especially how we care for the workforce. Many democracies boast free health care, parental leave, generous assistance with babies and children, and free higher education. Public higher education in the United States used to be close to free as well. In the early 1970s, a person could pay off their year's tuition with a summer job. For former Senator Doug Jones, his tuition at University of Alabama was $510, which is around $2,000 in today's net worth. But tuition today at University of Alabama, $11,900. No wonder our students are burdened with student loans. And it's also not a coincidence that our colleges began charging tuition when they were forced to be integrated, because that is the same timeline as well. And boy, did President Biden anger some folks last week by canceling $10,000 worth of student debt. I don't know anyone for whom $10,000 is not a significant amount of money. Many of us had to take out loans to pursue our careers, and for many of us, that amount is going entirely toward out-of-control interest rates for government-funded loans. These aren't even private companies. These are government-funded loans. One of our church folks shared that she was grateful for the assistance, but that $10,000 would not even cut into her principal. And over the years, she has already paid more than the amount she borrowed in interest. And this stress over student debt is not just for liberal arts professions, but applies to traditionally wealthy career choices as well. I was watching She-Hulk, fabulous show, and she was complaining that her law degree cost her $600,000 in student loans. She was stressed about this. As a lawyer, as a person with a high-level corner office who has an assistant who makes more money than most of us could ever imagine, but she was still stressed about how she was going to pay back her loans. You see, when the system weighs people down, and the best they can get is a minimum wage job, they are always behind, always trying to catch up. It is so much more than money management. As those of us of younger generations have learned, the price of goods and services and housing have soared, and wages have not. One night, just for fun and for you, I was elbow deep in statistics about wage stagnation with the Economic Policy Institute. The Economic Policy Institute is a nonprofit, nonpartisan think tank created in 1986 to include the needs of low and middle income workers in economic policy discussions. And their work is now my second favorite think tank, preceded only by the PRRI. So I came away with the following tidbits. The wages of the top 1% have increased 138% since 1979, while the bottom 90% have only increased by 15%. Second one, productivity was up 74%, while hourly compensation rose only 9%. So workers are still making more and producing more, but are earning less. Middle wage workers saw a 6% increase. Low wage workers saw a 5% decrease. How on earth are we thinking ourselves as the best liberal democracy? High wage workers saw a 41% increase. In case you missed it, low wage workers have steadily lost wage potential since 1979. Again, I don't share this because I want people in this room or people online or people in Tuscaloosa to feel badly, unless any billionaires are watching. Then I kind of do. My father is a doctor. I have greatly benefited personally from all of these systems. But capitalism is a parasite on our souls. It perpetuates a scarcity anxiety that need not exist. There are enough resources in this world for everyone to be fed and clothed and sheltered without any of us noticing a hit to our wallets. Recently, I attended the Racial Wealth Gap Simulation sponsored by the Penny Foundation and Alabama Arise. And I would love to bring this to the church if y'all will join me for this simulation. It was fascinating. After a delicious meal, our table of random folks was invited to begin the simulation. For the purposes of the simulation, white folks were asked to walk in the shoes of black folks and vice versa. And the brown people in attendance had to choose one or the other. Each round consisted of telling of a national policy or law or event And then folks were given money, land, or what was called a lost opportunity card. The game uncovered so much, like how black folks didn't receive veterans' benefits, even though they fought in the same wars, and how real estate in black neighborhoods is severely undervalued. Some of you may have seen in the news the story of Nathan Connolly and Shani Mott, who live in Maryland and recently had their house appraised. The appraisal company said that the property was valued at $472,000. Dr. Connolly, who happens to be an expert on redlining and the legacy of white supremacy in American cities, and much of his research focuses on the role of race in the housing market. So since he was putting his house on the market, he decided to make it a personal aspect of his research. So he removed the family photos from his home. He invited his white colleague over for a visit, and then invited another appraiser over. The house's value jumped to $750,000 with the appearance of a white owner. It's hard to talk about these inequalities with a group like yourself because in so many ways, I'm not talking about you regardless of your income. Your church does an amazing job of caring for paid staff and wanting to be as competitively generous as possible. And yet, as competent and amazing as our staff is, we cannot hold up this community on our own. We need you to help us in various ways. We've done our homework too. We've looked at trends and tried to make volunteer jobs less stressful, more collaborative, and as easy as possible. We encourage experimentation and finding the right fit. Just like this morning, when we knew we had a time to be online with Tuscaloosa, and we had to stall a little bit to make sure we could make it. Fall religious education starts next week, and Courtney is still lacking 8 teachers. That is a struggle. If you want the exciting, filled community we had prior to the pandemic, we need your help. This fall is the time to sign up, try something new, connect with a smaller group of church folks. Our staff can support a larger church, but only with your support of sharing your gifts with us. Some of you are wondering why I'm asking for volunteers in a sermon on labor, when you know how I feel about free labor. Service is your community, showing that you want this community to exist, that you're invested in our values, that there is something here for your children, that we are a beacon of hope on this hill. This past week, Josh and I had some upkeep work for our deck. There was a piece of it that needed to be contracted out to a professional, but the ceiling really needed to be painted. So I decided to save some money and do it on my own. So as I'm stretching back to paint the ceiling, and the paint is falling into my eyes, despite me having goggles on, I begrudgingly kept thinking, why did I not just hire someone to do this? This is ridiculous. It does not look professionally done, but it's done. My labor saved my family some expenses, and it really only took me a couple of hours. It was an investment for the people that I love. And that's why you give back to your congregation. For the same reason that you sell Scout cookies or popcorn or volunteer at your child's school or plant flowers at the botanical gardens or support your alma mater. For the same reason that it's sometimes more edifying to do a home project yourself than paying someone else to do it, even if it's less perfect or takes twice as long. And often, especially at church, many hands make light work. And some of our deepest friendships in this congregation began with people volunteering together, because giving back releases endorphins and helps us to build a beloved community. We staff want you to care about this place as much as we do, because it's really special. It's great to be in a place that truly gives me a free pulpit, that cares about my family, and is located in such a beautiful place. I'm lucky. Most of my colleagues from the years that I entered ministry have changed churches or left the ministry entirely. Church work is hard work, and all of our staff work so hard for all of our communal benefit, but none of us could do our jobs without you who volunteer. As Labor Day approaches tomorrow, and you celebrate however you do, consider one thing. Try not to buy anything from a place that does not respect their laborers. Support small businesses if you need to shop, and if you desperately need to shop at a big box store, honor the workers. Thank them out loud for their labor. They truly are the backbone of our economy. Honor our laborers and the inherent worth and dignity that they deserve. Amen, and blessed be.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, Extinguishing of the Chalice, and remain standing through the benediction. Please turn to Untitled Hymnal 1017. It is our work and shared with each other in covenant that creates and sustains this beloved community. We extinguish this chalice, but its light lives on in the directions we have chosen today. The light of this faith lives on in us together, in our hearts, minds, bodies, and spirits. Amen, and blessed be.
Go in peace, appreciating the labor that you have done and the generations before have brought us here, and the work that continues today. Amen.